Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Transnet podcast. We're coming to you from the Transnet Pavilion here at the Africa Rail Conference in Sandton. My name is Milton Ngosi, and I am joined by Tauqeer Ahmed, who is the head engineer at the Center of Excellence, and he is from the Transnet Port Authority.
Good morning.
We are going to talk about hydrogen, aren't we? Green hydrogen.
Green hydrogen, correct.
Welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
And it's great to have all these people listening to us.
Yes.
We are going to learn so much from you today. Can I just first ask you the most simplest of questions? What is green hydrogen?
Now, thank you for the question. So, what is green hydrogen? So, green hydrogen is not any different to normal hydrogen. So, it's not a brand new product or a totally different product. It's hydrogen. So what makes it green is the process of manufacturing that hydrogen. So you find out now when you go into hydrogen, or you get different colors of hydrogen. So to make things a bit more technical and exciting, you get different colors of hydrogen. You've got brown hydrogen, black hydrogen, gray, blue. It just depends how to manufacture it. So what makes green is when it comes to making the hydrogen, you use renewable energies such as solar, wind, or if it's wave energy. The main thing is as long as the energy source is green, renewable. So that's where the green comes from. And so how it's manufactured, and when it comes to green hydrogen, the typical the method of manufacture is through what we call electrolysis. So if some of you would remember going back to high school chemistry, where they had an experiment with a battery and two wires in the water with an electrode and anode. And when you ran a current through the water, it created bubbles on both sides.
Yes.
So the bubble coming out from one side was hydrogen, and the other side was oxygen. So we call that water electrolysis. So imagine that much more bigger scale. And so you get an electrolyzer, you energize that with green energy, and that makes green hydrogen. So it's green hydrogen. And what you find now when it comes to green hydrogen, it's kind of the new buzzword in the market, especially when you look at now decarbonization. We're moving to a world where we need to start decarbonizing, especially because we are being now impacted by climate change. It used to be, I think growing up through high school and then going to varsity, you hear about climate change, and then you say, what is climate change? People talk about sea level rise, and theory. But look at what's happening right now. Floods in KZN, droughts in the Eastern Cape. We're feeling the impact right now. So we need to move towards decarbonization, and so there's different methods of decarbonizing. So we know obviously you've got the solar panels and the wind turbines and whatnot. That's one form of energy. Another form could then be biodiesel. So there's different options. Hydrogen is one of them. What's also quite interesting with hydrogen, and you will find out because the technology is still quite new, there may be a lot of oppositions against it, or lots of backlash or negative views. It happens with any new technology. So right now what happens is that when you have excess wind energy and solar energy, what do you do with it? You don't want to go and waste it. So hydrogen can also be a form of storage. So all your excess power, what you do is that you take that power, you put it through an electrolyzer, you make your hydrogen, and you can keep the hydrogen in storage tanks. So on the days when the sun doesn't shine, when the wind doesn't blow, take the same hydrogen, and then there's another technology called a fuel cell. You take the hydrogen, you put it through the fuel cell creates the electricity, and it's kind of like a backup power. So
okay, yeah. So it's a bit, in my simple mind, is a lithium battery.
In a sense.
Of sorts. Okay, good.
Yeah.
No, I've clarified that. Okay, why is green hydrogen important for South Africa and for Africa as a continent?
Okay. So if I can then touch on that now, besides just the decarbonization aspect. What you find now, if you start doing more research into green hydrogen, there's demand for green hydrogen in countries like Germany, Europe as a whole, Japan, Korea. So let's look at now for example, like Japan. As a country, they don't have too many sources to create energy. So what they do there, they basically import energy in the form of gas, coal. They were doing now nuclear now, but now with the recent tsunamis and the disasters on the nuclear side, the public perception is taken quite a negative turn. So they need to look at alternative means and ways of bring in the energy that they need. So one form being hydrogen is what they're looking at. So there's demand for hydrogen on that side. Same now with Germany. If you look at now the Russian-Ukrainian war, they're not getting the gas that they used to get from Russia. So there's an energy crisis. So again, they're looking at now at hydrogen as a form of energy to supplement their needs. And so coming back to now, why is it important for South Africa and then Africa as a whole? Just wanted to give you that background.
Yeah, sure.
So if you look at South Africa specifically, and if you look at now the Western Cape, your Kalahari, Namib area, so we're looking at South Africa, Namibia, Angola. So in terms of solar potential, it's got a high solar potential. And also what happens that because now you've got the cold Benguela current that goes up the coast, it's cold, desert. What that causes that, in terms of movement of air, it creates, strong winds as well. So you've got, solar potential, you've got wind potential to create renewable energies. And they can be done at quite a cost-effective price. And so that now becomes a business case for hydrogen in terms of producing hydrogen. So when it comes to the world of hydrogen, what's also quite important is the cost factor. So now Namibia, South Africa, we've got this great potential. So as South Africa, we've got the potential. Another great potential of South Africa is that when it comes to now your electrolyzer technology and the fuel cell technology that hydrogen uses, we've got 90% of the world's platinum. You need platinum. We've got the minerals, we've got the wind. So in terms of resources, the raw resources, we've got them. So they, I've heard terms, so some people have been saying in some of the circles that South Africa has the potential of becoming the next Saudi Arabia of hydrogen. So if you know Saudi Arabia being for oil,
yeah, that's big.
That's big, exactly.
That's
so
really big,
so
yeah.
so
But
that.
why did I hear that it's Namibia that is leading at the moment? Is that correct?
No, Namibia. I must say, in my engagements with the different conferences and whatnot, they are moving at quite a pace. So it's just their process with regulations and legislation, and then just the way the government is pushing some of these things. They may be a bit ahead of us on certain things, but so it's just us needing to play a catch-up game. So regulations, legislations, we might have maybe one too many loopholes to jump through. But yeah, I think there is a bit of an advantage on the Namibian side.
But
I must say, yeah.
there's some talk I hear that it will also be available for export.
Yes.
Now, how will green hydrogen be exported out of South Africa and, more importantly, exported to where?
Okay. No. Thank you for the question. So if you look at now the mechanics of hydrogen, so hydrogen being the first element on the periodic table, it's a very light element, and so what's difficult with that is that to try and keep it in a gaseous form and transport in gaseous form becomes quite difficult. So you need to look at now where's your where you're exporting to. Hydrogen can be compressed, so you can compress it down to 300 bars, 700 bars. It makes more economic sense if you're going from